student achievement for outstanding work in the study of construction technology or constructability. There's no better organization than CSI to partner with the College of Architecture and Planning here at Ball State to present an award of this nature. The mission of CSI is the advancement of construction technology. It is our belief that the CSI medal, which is being awarded for the first time here today, will grow to include other CSI chapters and other design schools around the country. The winner of this award will be the first in a long tradition of winners of an award that will honor those who advance the study of construction technology. The study of architecture is much more than pretty pictures and cool models. The practice of architecture is much more than what is found on the glossy pages of architectural record. The aesthetic design of buildings and environments is very important to the man-made world in which we live. However, this aesthetic design without the knowledge and implementation of construction technology will not create real-world buildings. It is the coming together of art and technology that creates architecture. For many years, architecture schools from coast to coast have honored and praised students for their mastery of the architectural part of the equation. It is an honor to be a part of one of the first awards that praises an architecture student for their study and advancement of construction technology. It is my privilege to award this first CSI medal to Brian Hobbs. Yes.
Put it on.
We also have and are awarding you the CSI Manual of Practice, which will be a very useful tool to you in your further study and practice of architecture. Congratulations.
I should mention that the fellow that brought up the manual is Gary Geiser, who's one of our alums, has been also very, very central part of making this medal happen, and very, very dedicated to CSI Group 2, Ball State, and to the Department of Architecture. I'd now like to call upon Dr. Jim Glass to confer a whole series of awards with respect to history and historic preservation. Jim.
The History of Architecture Award is the first award. It's been made annually in our college since 1975 to recognize a graduating architecture student who has achieved an especially outstanding record in his or her architectural history courses while at Ball State. This year, we are happy to present the 1999 History of Architecture Award to Elizabeth Adamson for the most outstanding performance by a graduating architecture student in the History of Architecture courses. Elizabeth, come forward. We have several awards to present this year for outstanding performances in the Master of Science in Historic Preservation program. First of all, we have nominated 8 persons for induction into Sigma Pi Kappa, the National Historic Preservation Honor Society. To qualify, a student must have achieved a 3.7 grade point average as a graduate student and completed at least half the coursework for the master's degree. Our 8 new members, and they will come forward: Tommy Kleckner, Michelle McCullough, Jenna Knoll, Sean O'Skay, Sherry Siebert, Elizabeth Suckner, Christine Wallstrom, and Julie Sick. and philosophies with others in her class. She's also done quite well academically this year. Anne, can you come forward? Each year we make awards for master's theses and creative projects of outstanding quality. There are 4 we are recognizing this year. 2 fell into the category of inventorying and interpreting different types of historic resources. And we are pleased to award the 1999 awards for outstanding thesis in inventorying and interpreting historic resources to Sean Skay, who identified and investigated all of the remaining historic theaters in east half of our state in his thesis, Indiana Encore, History and Preservation of Eastern Indiana's Historic Theaters, and to Sherry Siebert, who investigated a building type probably never before examined in the master's thesis. Her work is entitled Preserving Bodies, Preserving Buildings, Funeral Homes in East Central Indiana. Sherry, come forward. This year's award for our outstanding thesis in history and architectural history goes to Christine Wallstrom, who investigated the cultural institutions and buildings of free-thinking Germans of 19th century Indianapolis. In her thesis, Vereinsleben in Indianapolis, the social culture of the liberal German-American population as reflected in the design of community buildings from 1851 to 1918. Christine. The award for the most outstanding creative project of 1999 goes to Michelle McCullough, who conducted an exhaustive investigation of the properties and capacities for preservation of architectural terracotta in a historic school in her project entitled A Fragment of the Past, a case study of the salvaged architectural terracotta from the Oscar C. McCullough School, number 5. Michelle? Founder of the Historic Preservation Program in 2 ways. We are awarding the first David R. Hermanson Memorial Scholarship for the study of historic preservation and restoration to an incoming first-year student with an excellent undergraduate record. This year's scholarship will go to Rebecca Lewin of Washington University in St. Louis and will be presented to her in person with appropriate ceremony this fall. We did want to note that now. Secondly, we are presenting the preservation program's highest award, the David R. Hermanson Award, to 2 graduating students. The Hermanson Award recognizes outstanding leadership and overall academic achievement by a student or students graduating from the program. This year, we are pleased to present the award to Michelle McCullough and Sean Skay. Both have upheld exceptionally high standards of academic scholarship and provided special extracurricular leadership during the 2 years they've been here. It is a pleasure to present the 1999 David Hermanson Award to Michelle and Sean. Can you come forward? To the second-year class of 1999. This has been our largest, most enthusiastic, highest achieving academically and extracurricularly active class in the history of our program. Last year, for example, the class held the first ever open house in the college for about historic preservation, and this year and last year gave leadership for a series of fundraisers that featured historic preservation t-shirts, sweatshirts, and the unforgettable ball caps. They've also put on several memorable receptions. The class has supported each other and striven as a group for excellence in their classes and getting as much as possible out of the Ball State experience. In recognition of this unusual class spirit, we are presenting the special award for outstanding achievements to the second-year class, and we will present it to Heather Harrison, president for 1998 of the Associated Students for Historic Preservation. Heather?
In the Department of Architecture and its relatively young history, many of our alumni who have gotten out into the marketplace and established careers and become very active community members are now returning, and they're approaching us and they're saying they would like to give back, and I think that's a tremendous honor. to bestow upon the Department of Architecture for our alumni to come back and want to support education. The next award is the Estopanol Group Scholarship. The principal of the firm, Wayne Estopanol, couldn't be here. He has sent one of the principals of the firm, Dave Hillman. Dave is a Bachelor of Architecture grad, BSU grad, from 1978.
Thank you. Probably one of the few people from 1978. I'm any place quite look that old. We established a scholarship. This is the first annual Estopanol Group Scholarship, and we're pleased to do something a little bit different with this scholarship. It's not based upon all upon academics, but it's based upon people who show tremendous character. Lots of things go into character. There's morals, there's abilities, there's all kinds of different things, and it shows a well-rounded person who has character. We also chose determination. I would imagine most of you guys are feeling a little low on that after having been through a few years of a rigorous program. Determination is something that will take you a long way. Also academics. This year, the first annual Estopanol Group Scholarship goes to Mr. Robert Roseberry. This is also a cash award. Not only is there a shirt involved, part of the Estopanol Group family, but there is also a cash award of $1,000.
And lastly on the agenda for the Department of Architecture is a very special award for us. I would like to call upon Professor Tony Costello to deal with the Glenn Ceballos Memorial Scholarship.
That I have the pleasure each spring of introducing a very special person to our college and especially to the Department of Architecture. Peggy Ceballos travels down from Chicago each spring on or about this date, along with her mother Dorothy, and this year her grandson Cameron. And she comes down each year to personally name the recipients of the Glenn Ceballos Memorial Scholarship. She feels a very personal tie to each and every one of these recipients, and we're very fortunate that starting last year, the fund which she helped establish upon the death of her son Glenn, which has now risen to about $55,000, is able to fund two $1,000 scholarships. The unique thing about this scholarship is that the nominees can only be nominated by fellow second-year students. So in many ways, these recipients are honored by their peers. They are selected by second-year faculty from the list of nominated individuals. And much like the Estopanol Scholarship, it does recognize characteristics of individuals above and beyond that of simple academic achievement. And in many ways, they replicate the characteristics that those of us who were honored to know Glenn represent, including the striving for excellence, as well as a dedication to his or her fellow students. So it's my honor again this year, for the 9th year, to introduce Mrs. Peggy Ceballos, who will name this year's two recipients of the Glenn Ceballos Memorial Scholarship. Please greet Peggy.
Thank you very much. As Tony said, this is the 9th year that my mom and I have come down here to present this scholarship, and it's always a really special event. This year, my grandson Cameron's here, and he just had a little brother about a month ago, so I can envision him toddling around in the future years. But we made many wonderful friends here through the years, faculty, staff, students. And again, I just want to thank you all for your support. This year, before I present the two new awardees, I'd just like to read the names of the past recipients, and I'm going to have to read them because the list is broad. Joseph Chiritos, Sarah Marshall, Eric Sowers, Kevin Russell, Emily Linderman, Stuart Godfrey, Nell Westerlin, Robert Helfin, Paul Young, and this year's award winners, I would like to extend our best congratulations and much success in the future. They are truly deserving of this reward. And best wishes and congratulations to Megan Felipe and Amanda Russell. Thank you again. It's really a great tribute in memory of Glenn. Thank you.
To be able to share with you in recognizing and celebrating the students in the College of Architecture and Planning, and in this case in the Department of Landscape Architecture, that have won awards over the past year. I'd like to begin, if we can, with the ASLA Honor and Merit Awards. The American Society of Landscape Architecture gives these awards to recognize those students who have continued to excel in their studies and based upon their design abilities. It's a combination of their GPA, the personal skills, and the design abilities of the individuals. The process by which these people are determined is that the faculty of the department identify the nominations, and then a committee of the local chapter of ASLA comes to Ball State, interviews, and determines which of those recipients will be honor awards and which will be merit awards. This year's recipients of the ASLA Honor Award are Timothy Shaw, Deborah Lee Beck, and Stephen Joseph Spears. Steve is off at an American Planning Association conference now. The recipients of this year's ASLA Merit Awards are Darren J. Meyer, and Jenna Ferries. Each year, the Garden Clubs of Indiana awards a number of scholarships to students at Ball State University and Purdue University. It's an interesting scholarship in that the number of these, and they are, in addition to other things, are $1,000 scholarships each, and the number is growing each year. It's interesting because there is no endowment. The garden clubs throughout the state have fundraisers to generate the resources to give these awards. Each year these awards are actually named in May, and so we recognize the awards from the previous year in our college ceremony. The recipient of the 1998 Vale of Paradise Scholarship is Kenneth Bates. The money's all gone, but we do. The recipient of the 1998 Clarice Fegley Scholarship is Jennifer Carpenter. The recipients of the 1998 Garden Club of Indiana Scholarship are Peter Andrea, Mary Bates, Julie Fountain, Jason Grimes, and Emily Roberts. This year, one of the students of the Department of Landscape Architecture won the 1998 Indiana Golf Course Superintendent's Scholarship. It was received by Andrew Shepard, who is on his internship now. Each year, finally, a certificate of achievement is given to the landscape architecture student that has the highest GPA in the department, and that this year that goes to Deborah Lee Beck. I would now like to introduce Jenna Ferries, who will share with you the inductees to Sigma Lambda Alpha this year.
Honors fraternity for landscape architecture, recognizing honor and scholarship in the field. We had 10 new members this year. If I had known I was going to announce them, I would have saved all their certificates for right now, but as it is, I have 4 people's certificates. I'll just read off all the names and we'll save the clapping for the end. For those of you who don't have your certificates yet, please come down and get them in front of me. This year's initiates are Tricia Kimball, Nicole M. Sheehan, Jason Heminger, Stephen J. Spears, Philip E. McComber, Adam David Garvey, Dustin Cerna, Amy Cunningham, Jason Nagg, and Jeffrey K. Hirsch.
Faculty awards academic excellence in planning to those students who are in the 4th or 5th years of the undergraduate program or in the 2nd year of our Master's of Urban and Regional Planning program who have obtained an all-class grade point average of at least 3.75. This year, the recipients of the Academic Excellence in Planning Award are Elizabeth Clark, Angela Ferrori, Rose Hamel, Adam Teese, graduate students Tracy Bunce, and James Roach. Come forward, please. Several other prizes. One of them is Outstanding Undergraduate Thesis. This year's award goes to Elizabeth Clark. This year's award for the Outstanding Graduate Thesis goes to James Roach. Jim? As a department
interested in community development. We take a great interest in the community service activities of our students. They are involved in a wide variety of those things, and each year the faculty recognizes a student who has made outstanding contributions in the area of community service. I don't think anybody should be too surprised about the recipient of this award, particularly those of you who have been spending a lot of time in the last month or so hammering nails, sawing wood, stepping in mud, doing all kinds of things in the Habitat building. This year's award goes to Adam Teese. The next award is an award for outstanding student leadership in planning. One doesn't get able to con as many people to give up so much of their time to pound nails, saw wood, step through the mud, and work on the Habitat build without demonstrating substantial student leadership. Adam Teese. Each year, the American Institute of Certified Planners allows the schools with accredited programs to select the outstanding planning student. The basis for this is an outstanding record in school and the demonstration of outstanding potential and the ability to be a planning professional. This year, and since we have 2 accredited programs, this year's award winner for the Bachelor of Urban Planning and Development is Elizabeth Clark. And the award for the Master of Urban and Regional Planning goes to James C. Roach.
Given one for an interdisciplinary thesis or creative project, the second medal for interdisciplinary undergraduate team thesis project. Now again, call on Dr. Mitchell to make these presentations.
I'm only speaking for the 3 musketeers, Curly, Moe, and Larry. You can pick which is which. This is an award that we instituted this year as an effort to acknowledge, promote, and reward final year undergraduate work that engages and celebrates interdisciplinarity in environmental design education. They only selected me to do the talking because I'm by far the oldest one. We announced this new award at the beginning of the academic year, at a time, of course, when you're selecting topics. We have decided this year, with projects that came from the departments to us, we decided to award a medal for individual projects to one of the theses from each of the 3 departments. These are not the medals. Don't worry, you don't have to wear this. These are simply certificates acknowledging that. The medals are still being created and cast, and they will be here soon. So we will distribute them. The first in the Department of Architecture for a thesis entitled Academy of Art, San Francisco, Kara Moeller. In the Department of Landscape Architecture, for a thesis entitled Yorktown Downtown Revitalization Strategy, focusing on the economic, social, and physical environments of the Central Business District, Stephen Spears. Is he interdisciplinary or what? He's at the American Planning Association convention. In urban planning, for a thesis entitled Americanization in Groningen, Evaluating Dutch Retail Restructuring Using American Benchmarks, Krista Barron. In addition, this is the paper and this is the microphone. In addition to the individual projects, and more difficult to achieve, we want to recognize interdisciplinary team projects. This year, there were a couple of really good ones, and we'd like to recognize for their joint effort called Portland Urban Corridor, Ann Cooper and Dustin Egging. And from the Department of Landscape Architecture, and Dustin from the Department of Architecture. Another team project that wrestled and struggled through the the difficulties of approaching a problem from differing points of view, learned a lot about that, and discovered that there wasn't necessarily just one single product from that, was a project entitled Eco-Industrial Parks, Industry as Ecosystem. The people who did that were Lindsay Peckinpah from Architecture and Jill Trendler from Planning. We are particularly proud to present those awards as a group. We look forward to all of you fourth-year people. We expect you to flood us with projects that we're going to have to pour over for next year. Thank you.
Mr. Hamilton to be really one of the founding fathers of this college. In April of 1990, which was the occasion of our celebration of the silver anniversary of this college, Mrs. Hamilton presented a very generous financial gift to the college for the creation of an endowed scholarship fund. The stated purpose was to assist College of Architecture and Planning students, the awards being based upon scholarship, leadership, and financial need. It was established in honor of Mr. Hamilton, who was a longtime Muncie architect, a partner in the firm of Hamilton and Graham, and former president of the Indiana Society of Architects. He worked very diligently over a 20-year period for the establishment of a state college of architecture in Indiana, encouraging the Indiana Society of Architects to support legislation that would help ease Indiana's shortage of architects and other design professionals. And with no state-supported College of Architecture, Indiana students at that time studied out of state at considerable expense. But the leadership of Mr. Hamilton and others ultimately led to the passage of legislation which created this college in April of 1965. This year, 2 scholarships for the 1999-2000 academic year in the amount of $850 each are awarded, and the recipients are Brad Bovine and Amy Byron. One final group that I would like to recognize. I'm sorry. We make it very clear as we recruit students for this college, and certainly a very important part of the evaluation process, as the department chairs and the associate dean review applications, are qualities of leadership. We are always impressed with the credentials of students who are applying in terms of leadership opportunities they have had during their high school years, and certainly we see very strong leadership occurring. We are very, very proud of 8 very active student organizations in this college who, with their own initiative and drive and energies and leadership, I think perform not only an outstanding service to this college, but outstanding service to their fellow classmates and service to the community as well. And I would like to recognize today this year's leaders of these student groups who have not been previously recognized with this award. And these individuals are Jenna Ferris, who is the president of Sigma Lambda Alpha, Heidi Mackel, the president of AIAS, Paul Howie, the president of SCI, Jennifer Carpenter, the president of the student chapter ASLA, Heather Harrison, president of the Associated Students of Historic Preservation. Would you folks please come forward? One final person that I would like to recognize today with this Outstanding Service Award. You are probably all aware of the wonderful posters that we have throughout the building. They're hanging up over my head here. We have come to accept the fact that we always have well-designed, I think, extraordinary pieces of art that publicize the various events in the college. And this is largely the work of an individual that we are very proud of, and we want to recognize at this time, Andreas Baumer. I'd like to recognize Scott Truex, who will present the next award.
Here, the faculty involved with the CBP program have nominated 4 seniors to receive the Certificate of Appreciation for their work with communities, participating in charrettes. We have probably over 100 students in the college that have been involved in some form of CBP through studio work and projects, charrettes, and other activities that we take part in. So today I'd like to recognize 4, Lauren Dean, Mark Dwyer, Dustin Peggy, and Jake Plummer.
I'd like to next call forward Cindy Turner, who is the architecture slide curator.
Thank you. I'm here today because this year, for the first time, as a part of the library, which as many of you may or may not know, the slide collection and the architecture library are part of the university libraries. We had an opportunity this year, and as we have in many past years, to nominate a student assistant for an outstanding student assistant award that's given in the university libraries. University libraries employs about 179 students each year, and when I've been asked if I want to give this award or want to nominate someone for this award in the past, I have always thought, well gosh, do I have anyone so outstanding that they can beat all these other people out? This particular year, when I was given that opportunity, I took a look at the things that they needed to have done, and one of those was they to work for the library for at least 3 semesters, and they also need to have at least a 3.0 GPA. Then I knew that there were probably several people that could do that, so I had to really look hard to see if there was an employee that I thought really, really worked extra hard, or without that person, some of the things might not get done, like some of the things might not be found. Since I'd unsuccessfully nominated people before, I really want to be careful about this. After doing some research of those that qualified that were working for me, I found that one student might have a better chance than in the past, and that student is Elizabeth Clark from planning. I wrote a letter of support for her, as did Scott Truex, and lo and behold, she won the award. We're so pleased to announce that she was one of 5 recipients of this year's Friends of Alexander M. Bracken Library Outstanding Student Assistant Awards, and she won at a dinner on April 12th, $100 and a free dinner. Come on up, Elizabeth.
There's one final presentation to be made on behalf of the Student Leadership Development Board.
Hello, I'm Chris Bennett, and today I'm joined by Dr. Barb Jones. We are representing the Student Leadership Development Board. The Marine Award is named for Dr. James Marine. Each year we present this award to an outstanding member of the faculty or staff. The plaque is inscribed, always holding others as a first concern, always thinking of ways to better the university, unselfishly giving service to the people of Ball State University. Last year's recipient was Mrs. Penny Thomas of the School Board of Trustees. This year, the board decided to honor an undergraduate student. Since this award is usually given to a member of the faculty or staff, this is a particular accomplishment. This year's recipient, if he could please step forward, is Adam Teese.